Good morning, everyone, and thank you for your patience. So I'm wondering, by a show of hands, how many of you have pets at home or have had pets at home? I know I've seen lots of pictures of your dogs and cats and other critters, and so have any of your, I'm guessing some of you had the same experience then, when you call your pet's name out, that they come to you, right? So my cat Flower and my cat Schrodinger, certainly when I call their names, they'll come to me. When I open a can of cat food or shake the treat bag, they come running, but they will come to me when I call their names, and hopefully that same happens to you. When you call your pet's name, they come to you, right? And so this morning, they hear your voice and they recognize your voice. We have a friend over. If a friend calls out our pet's name, they usually don't come. They recognize my voice and they'll come, but they won't come to another voice. And so in this morning's story in Sunday school, we're going to talk about this. In the Bible story that talks about the Good Shepherd, I was really drawn to something a little bit different this year when I read the story, and it talked about how people who followed Jesus would hear Jesus' voice, right? But in the story, it talks about the Good Shepherd and says when the shepherd calls out for the sheep will follow the Good Shepherd because they know the shepherd, they recognize the shepherd's voice, and they trust the shepherd, right? And so that's kind of like the same thing with our animals too, our pets. I wonder if any of you have ever had the experience when maybe you're trying to make a decision about something and you hear a little voice in your head that says, yeah, that's the right thing, or no, that's not the right thing to do. We joke how that might be the angel on one shoulder and the devil on another shoulder, right? But when we learn from some people and know some people and trust some people, sometimes their voices really stick in our head. And I can think about some voices that are in my mind. I learned so much from a woman named Reverend Dawn Riley Duvall, and when I have encounter some things, I can hear her voice in my mind, kind of teaching me and guiding me. I remember a friend named Al Shotvax who taught me about the importance of giving, and he'd always say, giving isn't giving until it hurts a little bit. And so when I make a donation somewhere or give to something, I remind myself, am I hurting just a little bit? Can I be a little more generous, right? And then I also hear the voice of my grandmother, who would often say the following. She'd say, repeat after me, grandmothers know everything. And so that I would say, grandmothers know everything. And I still believe that that's pretty true to this day. But so we hear these voices in our mind, right? And I think that's really important for those who follow Jesus. We hear the stories of Jesus. We've heard them in Sunday school. We hear them every Sunday in church. And there are hopefully things that stick in our mind. Things like, I give you a new commandment to love one another. They will know you are my followers if you love me. Or treat others as you'd like to be treated, right? There's a version of that in the Bible. So there's things that we think about as followers of Jesus. And so I encourage us this week to pause and listen to those voices that might come to our mind to help us make a decision. Those times where we might hear a voice before we react to something, right? There are all these great ways, these voices from our teachers and from our elders and from our faith community that teach us. And so that was something that I thought was really special in this story. And we'll talk more about it in Sunday school. So will you say a prayer together with me? Loving God, thank you for caring for us. Thank you for those times when we can hear your voice calling to us to love bigger, to listen more carefully, to follow you. Keep our eyes open, our ears open, and our hearts open this week. And we all pray together. Amen. Have a good week, everyone.